Hello, I'm Julio, and in this video I want to talk about an add-on for Blender that is called PolyQuilt. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but it's basically a retopology add-on. I think it's super worth your time. I'm a big fan of retopology tools, and especially anything that that can make things faster in topology. I think is very well worth the time learning, and I'm a very big fan of Quaddraw in Maya. Quaddraw works amazing. I mean, it's not perfect, like nothing, but it works very well, and it has a very cool set of features that are embedded in the normal gestures. Let's say, like you have the shift tool to smooth, you have the cut tool with control, you have the ability to delete polygons or vertex with control shift. So there is like a lot of things that you can do with very minimal changing tools from different buttons. So PolyQuilt does this, and that's a great thing. Is very much in line with what you have in Maya, and I think that's one of the reasons that if you come from Maya and you are used to PolyDraw and until now you haven't found a nice tool for retopology in Blender, I think this is really worth your time. Okay, so to install this thing, this cannot be more easy. You just click here, get add-on, this button here, and now this button you drag and drop it into Blender. That's amazing. Okay, so you just drag this thing into into Blender and it will be installed automatically. I'm not gonna install it because I already have it, but let me show you quickly also here in add-ons. I want to show you this where is installed. So you will have it here, PolyQuilt retopology tool fork. Okay, we will go through the options now and outside of this panel, and I will also recommend you to install this one, KeyOps Toolkit. This is also a set of very cool things that, modeling, UVs and everything, but there is one specific thing that works alongside PolyQuilt that I think is also very cool to have. I mean, you don't need to install it for retopology, but it will help you with one thing. Okay, so let's go quickly through it. So let's imagine we want to do a retop of this object. Okay, so this object, what I will do, that feature I was talking about now, is I select this object and then I will do new retopology at active. Okay, this is not part of PolyQuilt. Is part of the of this KeyOps toolkit. Okay, but PolyQuilt you will see all the options here on the right. Okay, you can also see all these options, the same thing, because it's the active tool that you will have it here. Okay, so it's this button. Now this button, if you long press here, you will have other options here, but most of the things that you see here are accessible through the master tool, which is this one, the PolyQuilt, but also you have other things that you can, maybe, I don't know, for example, the extrude, or I don't know, the delete. All these things are again here on the main, but if you want for whatever reason to use them separated independently, is possible. Okay, so let's do this thing. Now, when I did here in the toolkit, when I did the new retopology at active, what does this create is this new retopology mesh, depending on the name of the mesh, and it's like an empty object. Okay, so with this, we start from an empty object. It's very similar to what you have in Maya. Now, one very cool thing about this that I love in Blender is that you don't have to set an active object to do the retopology, like in Maya, that you have to set the live object. Here you just start working, and whatever is behind is gonna be the high poly mesh to snap out to, right? So in this case, what I'm gonna do is just click, and then I'm gonna create, well, in this case I'm creating a triangle because I have a triangle here selected. Okay, but let me undo this. I can do a quad, for example, and then I click, 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 and then I have a quad. Okay, I can do, if I want an edge only, and then I will create the edge. With right click, I cancel, and then I will just extrude this edge, for example. Now, one of the cool things also of Toolkit and the plugin here is that I'm gonna exit the retopology. If you click here on the wheel, you will have different visual options, which are super cool. For example, if you want, this you can change the tool basically that you want to retopology. In this case, by default, we are gonna use, of course, PolyQuilt, but you can also change here the theme, and we can put Maya, for example. And if you put Maya and then toggle retopology, you will have a visual that is gonna be very similar to what you have in Maya Quaddraw, which is very nice. I like Blender default, but from time to time I will just switch to Maya because yes, it's very cool. Blender default, and also you can change here the edge width. So for example, so you can see it's very crazy, you know, but you can have huge edges, which is nice if you want to, maybe for presentation, it looks very cool. The cool thing is that, you know, you change this thing here and it will automatically change here. It doesn't affect anything in the scene anywhere else but in this object. Okay, so yeah, let me minimize this thing. So KeyOps, well, the KeyOps toolkit has more things here, but I'm just looking at this thing here on top. Okay, these other things are extra stuff. Okay, so let's go to the options here in PolyQuilt. So basically what I showed you before, you can just create elements. You can create triangle, you can create quads directly if you want, but really it's a super flexible tool. You don't really need to be creating quads or for example in polygons, what this means is that you create whatever and right click and cancel and then you have a polygon there, right? If you are in quad, then what is gonna be is stopping, you know, at when there is 4 sides. If it's on triangle, it will be, oops, what? Okay, I also have to say that from time to time, it's not perfect, okay? Sometimes it will do weird stuff. And this is something that you have to think that this plugin is in development, and sometimes it will do weird stuff. Like, for example, when we see the cut tool, you will see what I mean. Sometimes it will not cut properly. I have to say it's very minimal, the amount of errors that I found. In the web page here, it says, because I'm on a Mac, and there is here a known issue, only was on OpenGL backend, Vulkan and Metal not officially supported yet. So I don't know if maybe there is something here because, you know, I'm on a Mac and maybe some issues are related to that. I don't know. But I have to say it's pretty stable. There is no big errors or not big crashes, no corruption of the mesh, nothing. I mean, I've been using it for long sessions and it works very well. Okay, I never found any breaking stuff. But it's true that sometimes it will do a bit of strange things. I have to say that I have found less errors that I found in working in Maya with Quaddraw. So it's pretty stable. Okay, so things. Let's go through. Basically, well, here on the bottom, let me expand this thing so you can see better the buttons. You can configure anything here. Basically, the commands that you have in Control Shift, well, I'm using the Mac commands, but these things you can configure whatever here you want. You want to make that with Shift, you don't have the brush, and you have make polygon, then you can change it here, and you can save those key maps. So it's super well customizable. You can do anything, but by default this is what I have customized. I don't know if I changed many things. Like by default it works pretty much like Quaddraw in Maya. So basically when you get near to an edge, you will have this little arrow here. If you move from here, you click outside, you will just move it, but if you click on the arrow, you will extrude. And the way you extrude, you have parallel, bend, and flex. Parallel basically will extrude parallel line. Bend, it will make the thing adapt to the direction, and flex is pretty much the same. I don't really think there is big differences. I mean, both bend and flex work pretty much the same. Control Shift, you delete stuff, so very easy. If you click on a vertex, you move it, but if you long press on a vertex, you see that button, that circle, you will have the ability to extrude. The same happens with the edges. You can do this, and then it will automatically detect the surface, and it will stop and create new polygons depending on the surface, which is super cool thing. But yeah, I mean, you have to try these things to really see. Yes, these things, like for example, you can do, if I want to do for example, a cat with control, you see it automatically shows. This is pretty much like in Maya. It will show you the preview, and it will do the cut, and it will adapt to the surface, which is amazing. You can do two types of cut, equal and even, so depending on what you want, you can change here quickly. Let's do some very quick extrude here. Also with shift by default, depending on where you hover, you will have a different output. You see the visuals. For example, if I do here, let's say, for example, if I do here, yeah, this is not looking very good. Let's say, why is not? Okay, yeah, I know why. Because I have this thing here. So basically, this thing, yeah, you see here, fix x equals 0. This means that it's gonna try to every vertex that is gonna be on the center, on the middle, it's gonna try to snap it to the center. So you don't, when you have a mirror modifier, don't go to the other side. And of course, you can have symmetry activated. In this case, I was not using symmetry, so this thing, I'm gonna deactivate it so it doesn't really affect us now. So you see, now I can do, depending on where I put the mouse, it will do the output in a different way. So this is great in the, for example, let me do quickly here some more cuts. And if you want to do this, you can do this and this, you know, and you create the polygons quickly, following the surface and trying to follow more or less, you know, the line that you were from where it comes from, you know, that line, which is amazing. It works very well. It works very well. More things, like for example, shift, with shift press you have the smooth tool, and this works pretty much like in Maya. You can also hover on the borders and then shift, and it will do exactly like in Maya. It will soften, but it basically will even out the vertex on that line. So for example, here I will do this, and you see it will spread them out in the edge, in the long edge, in a good way. You know, it's not gonna mess them, you know, move them inside or anything weird. So yeah, works very well. And with shift press and you use the wheel mouse, you can open and make the brush bigger or smaller. Very, very convenient. So yeah, super cool tools. Really they work very nice, and you know, works very well, like pretty much like Quaddraw with even more functions. So yeah. More things. Well, here you can change also the brush if you want to have a move tool instead of a smooth. Perfectly fine. And also, well, the delete. You can use it like this, or you can use it like this. You can delete loops. You can delete, for example, just one edges. You know, you can delete faces, but you can delete a whole loop by clicking on the loop and just moving a bit in the direction where you want to delete, and it will automatically delete everything. Very convenient. Or you know, this other side, whatever. You can do that with faces as well. We'll delete all the line. navigation wise, it is gonna use the by default the object. Well, I have here on 3D cursor, but by default it's gonna use the object center to navigate. So whenever is the object center is gonna use. But I like to use the 3D cursor because I can set dynamically the especially when you have an object that is big, like for example in this object I have different things here. So you see the rotation here is going to be a bit more complicated. So what I do is I just set the 3D cursor, I clear with Alt A, I clear all the selection so I don't have any other objects interfering, and now my rotation is here on this point. So for me what works very well is this. So in this case I will do this, and then I will just create whatever is what I need. Okay, so yeah, if I want to go back for whatever reason here, down here, so what I will do is this, and then I will set the pivot point there, I will clear out the selection, and now I'm rotating here. So for me Alt A is what I have for I don't know exactly if it's by default that one, I don't know, but I use that one, Alt A. So yeah, very, very convenient. Sometimes I also like to use the poly build that comes in Blender because I think this one is also very nice. It works very well. I like this thing that you can extrude like this. It works super cool. And also sometimes it is, depending on what you are doing, is faster, but I love that both are very close by, so you can switch between one or the other very conveniently. Now there is another thing that works very well, and it's the is this one. Okay, this one that is called Quad Patch. Okay, Quad Patch, you will see what this thing is doing. So of course you also have things you can configure because it's another tool, but you just select these edges and now just draw a line. Boom. This is so cool. This is amazing. I mean, look at this thing. Well, let me do this properly. This is amazing. So I select those others, then I go here and then plop, and then it's like this, Yeah, very, very good. And also, yeah, I haven't really gone into the options here because I really don't use this that much. I go one by one, but this is super convenient. I mean, it works very, very fast, and yeah. So yeah, all these awesomeness here, I really think is very much worth your time. Don't miss this plugin if you are doing retopo in Blender, or you are considering using Blender instead of Quaddraw for retopology. This is gold. This plugin is free, is in active development. Yeah, it's great. It's great. So yeah, I'm gonna keep using this thing, and yeah, there is more options here. I don't know exactly what does this do. Vertex dissolve angle, I don't know. Edge snap deep, I guess. I don't know exactly what it's doing. I guess you can cut in more numbers. I don't know. I haven't been really. I mean, I've been using it very normally. Like normally, I mean, very Quaddraw like doing this and then doing this, and extruding and also the cut tool. Yeah, I don't want to ignore this tool. This just clicking on things, not without any other option. I mean, other button. It will do the cut tool, and the cut tool is basically this. It's a cut tool. It's not, I mean, it's not the knife. So the knife tool in Blender is also very cool, right? It's not the knife tool, but this sometimes is better, because it's more convenient depending on what you are doing. But for example, what it will not do is this, it will not cut through things. It will not cut through things like this. You need to, for this to step in this, and then in this, and then here, and whatever, and and then right click, and we will automatically do the cut. And what works super well with this tool is the slides. So you click outside, long press, and then you cut, and works very well. This is super convenient to do your cleaning your topology and cleaning some lines. Works super well as well. So you don't need to use the blender knife for this. sometimes Blender knife doesn't really work well for doing this, but this one I found that works very good, very good. So yeah, very nice, very nice. Yeah, nothing really more to say about this. Just with toolkit, so you exit the retopology at any moment, toggle retopology, you come back inside, and yeah, that's it. And yeah, configure, you can extrude the loops and everything. I don't really have many configurations here. It's just like extruded loops. Yeah, I think it's with Command Shift. I don't know, because I really don't know the tools the buttons in Mac. But yeah, it works as should expect. So yeah, hopefully you learned something today. See ya.